I don't understand why. Who? Oh, Welkin. Oh, so I can't even ignore that. Why? Why? I don't get it. Who's doing this? You know, fun fact, someone had already done this and they gave us a ton of Genesis crystals. Obviously, I've not done anything with them. The only thing that I would do with them is buy skins. Oh, but now I have to find a way to deal with getting the Welkin because that is just straight up primos. And to be clear, the only reason why I'm not like super ecstatic to get free primos, because I'm sure most people would be, since this is a series, most people don't like it when you just start spending tons of money in what's supposed to be a challenge. Now, I guess for this account, it doesn't really matter because we're only pulling 1 4-star per banner anyways, so it's not like I can just pull for constellations and everything just for the heck of it. It just amazes me that people keep spending money on this account. I'm not even gonna spend on this account. Why are you spending on this account? Long story short, save your money. All of those Genesis crystals are probably just going to go towards skins. With that out of the way, I am going to go spam through some quests now. So I began our quest spamming journey by just walking through Inazuma. You know, we had to get up to Yamiko's little perch, so I just walked my way up until I got wedged in this crevice. And mind you, it took me quite a while to get here. I didn't have any teleport waypoints nearby, so even though I was stuck, I didn't want to teleport away, and Step Bro wasn't around to help. After a bit of spamming buttons and somehow wedging myself even further into it, I had the brilliant idea of entering a character trial so that when I exited out of it, I would no longer be stuck. Except when I exited, it did move me from where I was. Why am I back here? But moving on from that, we met up with Wet Socks, infiltrated the police station, and were fortunate enough to be able to weed this garden again, because what would Genshin Impact be without weeding people's gardens? I promise you this is very integral to the plot. Of course, we beat up some more guards, watched the fireworks with Yoimiya, went to go cook up a mushroom pizza, again, very integral to the plot, but guess what we don't have? Cheese. So we had to take a quick trip back to Mondstadt to buy cheese to make the mushroom pizza to then give to Ayaka. Then of course, we continue with Ayaka's story quest, where you approach this wall, you have to knock a certain amount of times, and I was very disappointed in myself that when I got to the wall, the numbers 1, 4, and 7 just popped into my mind. I can't even remember what I was doing 5 minutes ago, yet somehow I'm able to memorize the number of times you need to knock on this wall because of the sheer number of times I have played through this game. Then we got to go for another round of a walking simulator, followed by the infamous Wet Socks scene. With our questing out of the way for today, to kick things off, I'm gonna go ahead and ascend our Barbara. And surprisingly, I actually can level her up, which means that the 4 characters we plan on using for a bit are all now level 70, and all of their weapons are level 70 as well. It looks like none of their talent domains are actually open today, so I can't work on that yet, but that's fine because we're kind of poor in terms of Mora, so we are going to spend some time on the ley lines. We now have ourselves 1.5 million Mora, and I'm sure that that is going to disappear just as quickly as we got it. But in the past couple of days of farming, we did hit AR 40, which automatically increased our world level. I don't know if that's really a good thing, but so far, we haven't really struggled with fighting enemies out in the world, so I think it's fine. One thing it has allowed us to do is start getting some 5-star artifacts to drop from bosses. The downside to hitting AR 40 is now that we just got these characters max ascended for what we could do, we can ascend them again already. And so while we still can't farm for Gaming's talent materials, we can instead go ahead and farm for Kaya's. Oh, well that's an interesting place to spawn in. Okay, so I have bricked my teapot. Wait. I can still talk to him, it's fine. I was gonna say, to appease the people, we'll hop into our teapot and actually do something, just to, you know, get it leveling up. But I can see that it's gonna be a little difficult. Let's make building and flower. Oh, I can't do that. Rush the building, then make flower. And we've made it to rank 2. Actually, this is completely fine. I don't need to be able to access the teapot as long as I can talk to Tubby, which always feels like an insult when I call him that. I am loving this layout. But now getting back on track, we are going to go farm in this domain. And this used to be a massive pain, but I know at some point they nerfed these domains a little bit, which is fantastic, because now I don't have to suffer as much in here. Of course, it's still a little rough because I pretty much just can't use Barber's skill at all. Otherwise, I will be permanently frozen. But it seems like each run will take us about a minute and a half. And I'm thinking we'll just spend all of our resin. I don't really see a reason not to. You know, ideally, what I would love to be able to do in this video is get this account to AR45, because then we can farm the highest difficulty, not just of artifact domains, but even of talent domains, meaning I could start using our 47 fragile resin, which would allow us to do quite a bit of farming. I feel like the best way to do that, if I wanted to, would be just Archon quests, as I'm pretty sure that that's what gives the most XP in this game. So with all of our resin spent, pretty much the only thing that I can do is spam through quests. But you know, there is one upside to having to do this, and it's the fact that we get to see the best character in the entire game. Wow, look at how much damage we're doing to her. That's crazy. Okay, can we just get to the part where she does the thing? I can't do damage, and I also can't survive. There we go. Now we just keep running away. Ooh, can I crop out my character and somehow use this in the thumbnail because it looks so cool? Someone remind me to use this in the thumbnail? Oh, wait, that's not gonna work. Next step is off to Watatsumi. Okay, I lied. We're not going there quite yet. I forgot that first we need to take a detour to Epilepsy Island. XP check? Oh, we are not that close to 45. Oh, who's this guy? Tepe? What's up, Tepe? Don't worry, I'll save you and nothing bad will ever happen to you again. You will live a long and healthy life because of me. Ah. Thank you, game. What a truly fun place to explore. This is great. No, I'm loving this. Every part of this is wonderful. Luckily for me, and I suppose unluckily for all of you because I know you like watching me suffer, the archery challenge should not be a problem because we have bow characters. In fact, we have 3 different bow characters that we get to choose from. So, barring any rogue lightning strikes, this should practically be a record clear across my accounts. There's Chapter 2, Act 2 complete, which is not even enough XP for 42. Yeah, there's no way that we hit 45 today. That is not gonna happen. But it was time to get back to questing for me. And luckily, since we have access to Electro characters, this little puzzle was not an issue for this account. Then we cleared our way through Scaramouche's domain, I mean Wanderer's domain, I mean the Balladier's domain, I mean whatever you named him's domain. After getting knocked out there, we woke up in a wonderful spot, but then had to do the dreaded anti-Raiden Shogun training, though it seems like they actually made this a lot easier. In the second part where we had to fight the enemies, you didn't have to dodge the quote-unquote Raiden Shogun attacks. So once that was done, we met up with the Raiden Shogun fan club, and obviously between me, Kujo-Sara, and Yae Miko, I am the #1 fan of Raiden Shogun here. I mean, that's just not even up for debate. We did get blocked on one of the quests because we had to go finish a separate quest, and the best part about this interaction is that you need to deliver a letter, but to deliver the letter, you have to run through a bunch of the guards, which will now turn you away because you're a wanted criminal. So you have to find the perfect path to get around the guards to deliver the letter so that you can actually continue with the main storyline. We call this game design. Luckily, we did get temporary access to Kujo-Sara, which we could use as a 4-star character, but it still took quite a while to clear those enemies out. We then moved on to fighting the fiery cadaver, which also took quite a while. Our damage on this account is not too good at this point, though it was all worth it for getting to see Raiden Shogun once again. Our fight with Raiden Shogun, however, was taking quite a while, and I mean like a long time. So I had the bright idea of just turning off the UI because then I wouldn't constantly be reminded of how little damage we were doing. The full Raiden Shogun fight took me just over 10 full minutes to complete, but luckily we were able to do it. So as you saw the other day, I decided to just sit down and get the Inazuma Archon quest completed, which now means we get to claim one of the free 4-stars. The problem is we already have a Kole, so I feel like this is the only choice. I know there's gonna be people that are not happy about this because they want me to not use meta 4-stars, even though the whole point of this is to use 4-stars. And look, there's Spiral Abyss has more and more HP on those enemies every rotation, so we are going to need all the help that we can get. Although the downside of getting Xianling is that I'm going to have to do some fishing. But now once we complete the Deja Vu Archon quest, we'll finally be able to get rid of this stupid exclamation point. As I probably mentioned during the post commentary for the Raiden Shogun fight, our characters are not very strong. I would say level wise with the character weapon and all that, we're doing okay, but I feel like our damage is just non-existent. We could definitely stand to use some artifacts, but since we are so close to AR45, I do want to wait, or at least that's what I keep telling myself, even though it's hard to stick to that. Because like, look at this. I have to farm like this. I will say that out of all of the challenge accounts we've done, obviously we get to the Archon quests at different points in the account. Like I think at Geo Only, the account was decently developed before we finished the Inazuma Archon quest, but this account definitely took the longest to get through those fights. Even in Scaramouche's little like mini domain thing, just taking out the basic samurai enemies was not an easy task. Now hold up, I want to check one thing. If we find the notice tab, I actually forget how you get to the notice tab. I think we need to finish this domain first, which only took us 2.5 minutes. 2.5 minutes to kill 8 slimes is so sad. Okay, notices tab. Somewhere in here, they show us the upcoming banners, I think. Okay, here it is. Right. Oh, that's right, Zhongli. Oh, Geo Only is gonna go into panic mode. But if we look at the 4-star potential for this banner, it's pretty good. Obviously, Fischl is one of the best Electro characters in the game, and as I've stated many times, I've really never used her, ever. I think the best part is she's off-field Electro, which means we could actually make a Chevreuse team. Oh, actually, if we got her, we can make a really good Overload team. Obviously, we'd be missing Bennett, but that's fine. The Yao Yao would be nice because that would be a second Dendro character and also a healer. Plus, she is pretty easy to build. Then Heizo is also here, a very nice DPS. I would say out of the 3 potential 4-stars, I know there's a chance to get a different 4-star, but let's just assume that we don't do that. Heizo is probably the one that I want the least. I wouldn't be upset to get him, but out of those 3, I'd prefer the other 2 just for the support capabilities. And I know Yao Yao is not really an off-field character, but we really do need some off-field characters. Though Yao Yao would make Hole a much better option as a Dendro character, especially since we will eventually be getting her C1, which means when she's not in the field, she gets 20% extra ER, which is kind of wasted if I don't have another Dendro character. It still helps, though not that much. And that new banner will be starting in 1 day and 20 hours. And I think it might take 1 day and 20 hours for me to finish spending my resident here. You know what I should do? Although I guess I'll wait until we are level 45. Since we're gonna have to go and spend 49 fragile resin, it would probably be in my best interest to do it during a live stream and get other people to help me with 4-star characters, because that would probably, mostly definitely save me hours, 3 minutes. 3 minutes per run. I just quickly did out the math. If every run was about 3 minutes and I wanted to spend all of my fragile resin, it would take me between 3 and 4 hours. And that doesn't account for warping back to the city to condense resin or anything. So probably over 4 hours of just straight sitting in a domain doing this. So yeah, you know, I think I'll do that during a live stream. The next step of this account logically would be the Sumeru Archon quest, but I would prefer to build my characters a little bit more before doing that. I'll be honest, in my head, the whole idea for this series was as we go through the different nations and Archon quests, we could switch up the team a little bit to use characters that make more sense there. So for Sumeru, we could use Kole. The thing that I just completely neglected to remember or realize is that trying to build multiple different characters at the start of the game is not an easy thing to do. It takes quite a while to build one character. So I would like to at least make this team stronger, which means I need to get the AR-45 without doing the Archon quests. And those do tend to be the biggest source of XP, though let's be honest, it's not like I have a shortage of quests to work on. Now, we can bring Gaming's skill up to level 5 and hopefully level 6? Yes, we can. So that'll help a little bit with damage. Now, when it comes to artifacts, Gaming, we're probably going to be putting on this set. Not only is it good for his kit, but it's also really easy to build for crit. Of course, that had to rhyme. I don't know what I would put on Kaya. I honestly haven't given it much thought. Barbara is going to be really easy. We'll probably just do Maiden Beloved because we can get that at the same time that we'll farm the Viridescent domain. There are so many characters that I want to build and try to use on this account, but I need, like I've said probably so many times, I need to just focus on 4, which is very hard for me to do. Here is the plan for the rest of the video. I just logged on today and we have an hour and 40 minutes until the banner resets. I also have max resin and 5 condensed resin from yesterday. So let's see what I want to upgrade. I guess we could start by leveling up Gaming's Burst because I already have what I need to do that. Oh, and I don't know if I showed this in a video yet, but someone pointed this out to me a little while ago and I didn't know that this existed. You can select a character here, hit confirm, then it shows you what they need, but then you can also select what you're trying to upgrade. So if I want to upgrade the Burst now, it gives me exactly what I need in order to upgrade that. Like here, it sets it to whatever you need, and then you craft. Of course, Sucrose might kind of decide to mix things up a little bit, but if you didn't didn't know that that existed because I used to not know, and I think it was added relatively recently. Now you know. Oh, today is Tuesday, and this is open on Tuesday. I think we found what we're gonna farm. And if I remember correctly, this is an easier one for us. Oh, but they have red levels. But luckily, nothing is immune to pyro. In a domain, only taking a minute and a half on this account is practically unheard of. Is it too soon for me to say I would love to get a C4 Kaya? I believe that's what we had on Swords Only, or we at least had a C2, and I'm just so used to that playstyle. Then we just need to farm a couple of the enemies that we were just farming, but this time outside of the domain. And I'm pretty sure I just remembered that earlier I said, here's the plan for this episode, and then I didn't actually elaborate on said plan. I said we were gonna farm, and then that was it. But what I was going to say is, after we're done farming, we're going to be able to do the pulls in this episode. I won't make you guys wait until the next episode to see what 4-star we get, unless, what if I end the episode by just cutting it off at the wish? That is kind of tempting, I can't lie. But here is Pain Slasher almost fully ascended, and I suppose I'll go ahead and level it up as well. We're really running out of ores on this account, so I can't make much more weapon refinement material. Ooh, AR-43. Surprisingly, it looks like we can go ahead do a little bit of crafting, and then without even needing to farm anything, we can level up Kaya's talents. We'll bring the burst to level 6 because that's what I use the most. Then we'll throw in one for the elemental skill, and after just a little more crafting, we can bring the skill to level 6. I suppose we can work on the Harbinger of Dawn. Oh, I really like this domain. It's all Hydro, so our whole team does really well against it, and it's only slime. We don't have any of the Abyss Mages. Oh. Okay, never mind. I was bamboozled. On the side, it said defeat 8 enemies. I defeated 8 enemies, and then they added another stipulation. That's not my fault. Okay, I take it back. I don't like this domain. I actually don't. Yeah, we can't beat this in the amount of time that they give us. I was trying to do it as fast as I could, but I couldn't. Oh. Well, that's unfortunate. Because we lost, the game directed me towards the training guide to see what we should upgrade. It says our Kaya is relatively strong, but there's room for improvement. What do they want me to... A weapon? Not enough materials. You can obtain the materials through the corresponding method. Oh, you recommend me to upgrade the weapon. That's what I'm trying to do. Because we don't need too many materials, I'm just gonna knock it down a level. It's not the most resin efficient, but if I can't beat the highest difficulty, then this is really the only option other than co-op. But since I am not doing a live stream right now, this is the only option. Because going into a random co-op session, I don't know, do people farm in co-op? Like, can you even find a match at this point? I cannot even remember the last time I went into random co-op to farm in a domain. Wow, I did one run and we have enough. Then with some more farming and crafting, we are able to not ascend the weapon. Excuse me, auto crafting feature, what happened? Oh, I only crafted the green, I didn't craft the blue. All right, never mind, that's on me. Now we can ascend the Harbinger of Dawn, which gives us some more crit. Oh, AR-43 gives us a free 5-star goblet. Please do not be defense percent. Electro damage bonus, I hate the substats. I guess Tuesdays are just the weapon ascension material days. I was going to say heck with it and just farm a couple of artifacts with the rest of our resin, but we will head back to this domain instead and we'll try to level up Barbara's weapon. Does it really matter if we level up that weapon? Not entirely, but I suppose more healing is never a bad thing. Ooh, we got an achievement. But why does this weapon also have to use the Sisson Mage drops? These things are quite a pain to farm, especially since we do next to no damage. Oh, now it's up to my memory. The book stopped showing us where Sisson Mages are, and so now I have to try to remember where other ones are. I know that the interactive map exists, but 1, I am too lazy to pull that up, and 2, where's the fun in that? Give us big drops. Huge drops. Oh. That actually is pretty big drops. So now we do have enough. Barbara's weapon also ascended. And I guess the rest of our weapon XP. Now I am just going to wait for 52 minutes. The time for wishing is upon us. If we get Fischl, it's a very good character. If we get Yao Yao, she's the easiest to build and has a fun playstyle in my opinion. And if we get Hazo, that's another main DPS character that probably won't be built for a while. Although, who knows? Maybe I'll end up wanting to build him. Although oh, okay, early pity. Let's see what we get. Okay, I'm just joking. I had to do it to you. we do get the official. Excuse me, that was a zero pity 4-star. The only downside to this is I don't have a great weapon for her. I could do slingshot just for the crit rate. Other than that, it'd be Favonius. Or I guess technically, if I'm going for an overloaded team using her, then Raven's bow wouldn't be the worst. I'm just saying, we could make that overloaded team now. Though I suppose if I'm not running her with any other Electro characters on the team, it might be better to go with an ER weapon. But I suppose you guys can let me know down in the comments what you think our best bet would be in terms of a weapon for her. Oh, I was gonna do her trial. Just, you know, we might as well. And they actually do put her on a Chevers team here. Unfortunately, I don't have any of these other characters, or I would happily use them. Although I've got to say, Yaya's playstyle really is so fun to me. With that being said, I hope you guys did enjoy, and as always, I will see you all next time.